D-Lo 404 Boxing. All right, y'all. Let me get in here and give you my take on the Josh Taylor versus Teofimo Lopez WBO Junior Welterweight Championship bout. Okay, for me, you look at both guys coming into the fight. Neither one of them have a whole lot of forward momentum going in their favor right now. You got Josh Taylor coming off of the Catteral fight where a lot of people felt like he lost. He had to do a whole lot to grit out a win in that fight. Taylor, to me, fought well enough to earn a draw, and I could see a win for him, barely on the scorecards or the other way. But it was definitely a closely debatable fight. And when I first saw the fight, I felt like Catteral won the fight. That said, I didn't see the fight live, and I had already been told by someone that supports Josh Taylor that he felt like Catteral beat Taylor and Taylor got robbed. So I'm not gonna act as if I didn't already have that in my mind going into watching the fight. But that said, I do feel like Josh Taylor, fought well in the championship rounds of that bout, and I think that's what saved him. When you talk about let me stay on Taylor for just a minute. Taylor's also been going through several different trainers, and he's actually on a new trainer now. I think he's working with a new trainer now for the first time. All of that plays into it. Taylor's also had a laundry list of injuries since he became undisputed after beating Jose Ramirez. So that plays into it. So on the flip side, you look at Teofimo Lopez. I'll say Teofimo Lopez's struggles began in the bout. And don't get me wrong, Taylor wasn't flawless in the Ramirez fight. The two knockdowns probably were the difference in the fight. And in that fight, I picked Ramirez, so Taylor served me a fat plate of crow. Now let's go with looking at Teo. I think Teo's troubles began with the Kambosos fight. They had the delays. They finally got the fight off. Teofimo Lopez, in my opinion, got smoked in that fight. Now he showed a lot of heart, a lot of grit. Coming on strong. I think it was around 9-10, somewhere along in there. He came on, got Catteral hurt, got him in trouble. But then Catteral showed his mettle and persevered and made it to the finish. And then, of course, after that, this is where, in my opinion, Teo's biggest issue comes into play. After the fight, Teofimo Lopez in the ring turning backflips. He's talking about how he felt like he won the fight. His dad talking about they won the fight 11 rounds to 2, which comes out to 13 rounds. Just all kind of foolishness, right? So then, there's no rematch. Kambosos moves on. He goes on to fight Haney a couple times. Teofimo Lopez supposedly has all kind of medical issues, barely made it to the ring. He could have died in the fight. Mind you, I just said he was doing backflips after the fight. But, whatever. So then you fast forward to his first fight at 140 versus Campa. In that bout, I don't feel like Teofimo Lopez looked his best. But I gave him a pass. Dude's new to the weight class. Getting acclimated to the weight. And then coming off of his first loss. So I don't put a whole lot of stock into that because that's a lot of adversity for a lot of fighters. Coming off your first loss, going to a new division. Don't know what the shot's going to feel like. Don't know what kind of effect your shots are going to have on guys in that division. So that's a lot. So I don't put a whole lot into that particular performance just for those reasons there. But then you go to the Sandor Martin bout. Well, I feel like Teofimo Lopez got outclassed. I feel like Teofimo Lopez looked like a fish out of water in that bout. He had some good moments, but by and large, to me, I felt like Sandor Martin won the fight like 8-4, 9-3, somewhere along in there. And Sandor Martin got robbed of a knockdown that should have counted as well. A lot of people like to talk about Teofimo Lopez breaking Sandor Martin's nose, with his head. as if that somehow says that they were fighting on even terms. No, sir. That was, to me, it was pretty one-sided. I felt like Teofimo Lopez got a gift decision. Should have lost that. Like I said, I said probably 8-4. Probably 8-4. And the only reason I say 9-3 is because I'm actually counting that. I'm looking at, when I say what should have happened, that other knockdown should have been counted. So that would have been an additional point deducted for Teofimo Lopez in that particular round. But that said, this is what the both guys are coming into the fight having gone through. So all of that comes with you into the ring. You know, they have that baggage going into this fight. They have to overcome that. And this is an opportunity for both guys to kind of erase that. Teofimo Lopez, guy that was a unified 3-belt champion at 135. He's on a 2-fight win streak, officially at 140. You got Josh Taylor, undefeated fighter, was undisputed at 140. Hasn't lost a belt in the ring. He lost his belt, you know, behind some mandates and things like that. But here it is. They come together at a true Crossroads type fight, which is kind of a quirky Crossroads type fight, because neither one of these guys are really like over the hill. Neither one of them have a bunch of losses. But it's kind of one of those things where when you look at the matchup and you look at everything going in, it's like the loser of this fight may lose a lot in terms of ground and motivation, momentum, in terms of the trajectory of their career. Doesn't mean their career is over, just means they're gonna have a lot more work to do coming off of a loss versus the other guy. But I feel like a win does a lot for either guy. I think a win does more for Teofimo Lopez because despite everything that happened with Kambosos and despite his struggles at 140, if he can beat Josh Taylor, that's a hell of a feather in his cap, because regardless of where those belts are, Josh Taylor's the man at 140. You know, he was the undisputed champ, never lost his belts in the ring, still undefeated. And, you know, if Teofimo beats him, he's the man at 140 as far as I'm concerned. But like I said earlier about the antics and things that were said in the ring following his Kambosos loss, Teofimo Lopez has kept that same stuff going. After every fight, saying something ridiculous. Every time he gets a mic in his face, saying something ridiculous. And even the build up of this fight, saying all kind of, outlandish stuff. The guy is, I think he's stuck in his own head. I even watched the video where, he was cussing his dad out and basically, telling him, I don't want to say what he said. But anyway, it's now don't get me wrong. I know his dad had his faults as well, and I think he contributes to some of the issues. But with that being said, I just feel like there's a lot going on in that head. There's a lot going on in that camp. And I think Josh Taylor, even despite all the things that he has going on, is more prepared for this fight. Now, that being said, I spent 8 minutes of this video talking about everything coming into the fight. I'm going to come back and do another video and talk about the actual matchup, how these guys stack up against each other in the ring. That's all I got for now. D-Lo 404 Boxing. Like, share, comment, subscribe. My peace.